Good evening. My name is Gerardo Forte, and today I'll be presenting on why we support the making of anti-discrimination and stronger housing laws to reduce housing discrimination and prevent Latino families from becoming homeless in urban communities in the United States. Next. So I'll be going over the reality of housing discrimination for Latinos in the U.S., the need to fix housing discrimination, the solutions for housing discrimination, the future implement the solutions, and our role. Next. So imagine finding an apartment you can finally afford only to be told no Spanish allowed. For many Latino renters, this isn't imagination, it's reality. So I'll be going over the three urgent needs on why housing discrimination needs to be fixed, the solutions, the future implement solutions, and how you can help. Next. So there is a need to fix housing discrimination because of the many challenges for Latinos. Uh, One of the challenges is direct discrimination. According to a statistic, 46% of Latino renters face discrimination when trying to rent, higher than 31% by white non-Latino. And then another challenge is rental bias, where in an example, a Latina woman, she wanted to rent an apartment from a landlord where she called the landlord saying that she wanted a unit, but the landlord rejected her saying that there were no units. But and a lady from another organization called the same landlord asking for a unit under the name of Nancy, which is more of a white slash Anglo name, where the landlord said there are many units available. And then another challenge that Latinos face is fear of reporting, where Latinos fear of reporting landlords might lead to eviction, or if they're undocumented, might lead to deportation, which will essentially make housing laws more meaningless. Next. And then I want to explore the visuals on why we should fix housing discrimination. So, according to a statistic by UC San Francisco of a category, I experienced discrimination when I tried to rent a place. It shows 46% for Latin and 31% for white non-Latin. And in the same research study by UC San Francisco, a tenant said, "But no, it is hard. I have gone around asking for places to rent, but they tell me no Spanish. And I wonder, do they really not speak Spanish or are they discriminating against me?" Next. And then going over the why we should fix housing discrimination, I want to also present the solutions to fix it, which is to expand anonymous multilingual phone lines, which this would be beneficial as to open more phone lines to able to support housing discrimination, which this will benefit Latino families with limited English proficiency, and then it will also remove the fear and eviction, remove fear of eviction of silence. I think this is a good solution because according to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, in 2006, when they added new area codes and extra phone lines, it helped contribute to a 21% increase in calling. And then another solution is undercover fair housing investigation, where in this solution, if a landlord has a high frequency of complaints, of claims of that the landlord is discriminating, agents of different ethnicities will try to call the landlord and try to get the same unit. Or if the landlord shows obvious bias, then the landlord will go undergo mandatory fair housing training to address the bias. And then another solution is community tenant workshops and legal housing offices, which basically means to expand and implement them in the United States, where the workshops will be useful as Latino families will be able to recognize discrimination, know their rights, and how to manage a home. Or legal housing officers could also be beneficial because families can challenge evictions and challenge claims and secure stable housing. For tenants with legal help, they'll feel more confident and more comfortable. Next. And I want to show the visuals of the community tenant workshops where Latino families can attend them and learn more about their rights and the fair housing policies. And then for the investigation, this shows a team right here investigating if a landlord has a bias when renting, and right here shows legal housing help that can be used by Latino families to challenge claims and evictions. Next. And then if we implement the solutions, there'll be two futures. If we implement it, it'll be good. However, if we don't implement it, there's a bad future. So a good future if we implement it is stable and happy homes where Latino families and children can live comfortably and safely without needing to worry about eviction or landlords discrimination. Where children will grow up stable. And also, if we implement these solutions, it will transform the communities where neighborhoods become more diverse and the families will face less discrimination, and homeless shelters will save space, and they'll see less Latino families seeking shelter. However, if we don't implement these solutions and have no action, Latino landlords will continue to discriminate, and Latinos will be afraid to speak up, and current fair housing laws will be false. Next. I want to show the visual if we implement solution. So families will be more comfortable and feel more safe from like eviction and landlords. But this is possible only in future if we act. Next. So what to do to act is to be able to fix housing discrimination is attend government and city council meetings and voice our concern directly to representatives where we have to say to them to support funding of fair housing programs and policies shown by the person right here who's voicing his concerns in city council. And then another thing to do is learn our rights, our fair housing rights, and share them with our friends and family. Where if we experience or see discrimination, we and our family and friends can report it. And then another thing we could do is support organizations, which is the volunteer and legal housing help offices and local housing centers. Next. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I'll go over the housing discrimination that Latinos face in United States in urban communities, the solutions to fix it, the future if we implement the solutions or we don't implement the solutions, and what can we do to help. Thank you.